Today I'm going to show you how to make some really cute Halloween earrings using UV resin and these molds. First, I just put some silver glitter into these tiny little cups, and then I'm going to be using different colored mica powders. There's yellow and white, and I'm just putting a little bit in there because I'm not going to fill the cups completely full of UV resin, so you just need a little bit. And there's some orange. And then I'm going to go ahead and add some of this coffee colored. Now it's actually, I just use it for anything that I'm using for brown. And then since it's UV resin, you don't have to mix it, you just add it directly into your cup. A lot of people ask me the difference between UV resin and epoxy resin. The UV resin, you use a UV light to cure it immediately. The epoxy resin, you have to let it set. I usually just let mine set overnight and it cures by the next day. So once you put your UV resin in there, just mix it all up. And I made some candy corns with this little triangle mold. And you just add your orange there. And then I put some of this white silvery right in the middle. And the way I do this, because the resin mixes a little bit, I go over it in a couple layers. So here's my first layer. I haven't filled it completely full. And then I'll put the yellow on top. See how it's starting to run down? I'll show you how to fix that as we go along. So now I'm going to go ahead and do another layer, put some more orange to fix that runoff. And see how the yellow is trying to get into the silver? We're just going to fix that by going right through again and adding it close to where it's happening. And because we're using UV resin, you don't have to worry about this mixing anymore because right now we're going to cure it immediately. Put it under your UV light for about 2 minutes. And I always like to flip it over while it's in the mold for another 2 minutes on the other side. For these right here, I just did brown mica powder, and I actually added some of that copper colored foil, which we're going to be using again in a minute. Here's some little yellow or gold charms, and they're Halloween. I've used them in some other videos because I love them so much. And I've placed them where I wanted them into the mold already. So if you see the pumpkin with the hat, that's this pumpkin charm that I'm working on right now, except I added the hat on top because I think it's so cute. I've done that in another video with a different project before. I just think they're adorable. So for that brown mica powder, what I just did is I poured that about 1/3 of the way full in the mold because these charms are a little bit thick and you want the UV resin to be able to cover it all in the end. So once you do that, you put your charms on, then put clear UV resin. And now I'm going to add some little tiny pieces of copper foil into that UV resin. And then I'm going to use something to just kind of break up the pieces to make it look like a more natural blend. You don't just want a big chunk in there, you kind of want to break it up. And that's easiest to do when it's already in the resin. Typically I use toothpicks. I ran out. I really need to get some more. So I'm using this dropper instead, which it worked, but I just really like to use toothpicks for most of my projects. That's a lighter that'll pop your bubbles and then put it under the UV resin light to cure it. Now here's the up close version. This is where you're just putting your clear UV resin on top. And you're going to fill this mold completely, make it even and flush with the top of the mold so you don't have any ridges. And you're going to move, I put some more of the copper foil in there and just move it around and break it up to make it have a more natural finish there. You can put as much or as little as you want. I just think it adds to the project and it makes it look really pretty. So this is how you just take it out of the mold very gently. Be careful of where the jump ring hole is so you don't break your mold. And when I was pouring those the brown mold, I had extra. That's why I made those because I didn't want to waste the resin. So here's the jump rings, and I'm using the biggest jump ring, no, the second biggest jump ring that's in this set. Everything I'm using here, I will link in the description of this video if you want to know where to find any of it. So just put your jump ring into the earring. You saw where it dropped. I do that all the time. I don't get a good grip on my pliers and I drop the jump ring. So using 2 sets of pliers is easiest because it's easier on your fingers. Just put your earring hook and then close it up. Make sure it's nice and even and looks nice and neat. And I love how these little candy corns turned out. They're super cute. And they were really easy to make too, which is the best. So I just use these display cards for most of my dangle earrings. There are a few exceptions, but for the most part, this is what I use. I try to keep most of my display cards the same color and the same theme, just so it makes my displays look really nice. And I always use these rubber backs because the metal ones irritate my ears. So I also think these stay on better and they work better with dangles. So I just got, and they last forever. I've been using this box for a while. That's the different sizes of the candy corns, and this is what the brown ones look like. They all turned out really cute. And the big ones, these right here, if you don't like big dangles, you could also turn those into a keychain and add some different charms and stuff too along that. That's what the plain brown ones look like. I love how these turned out. Please let me know what you think in the comments. Like and subscribe. I have a ton more videos on my channel that you can check out of a whole bunch of different ideas you can look at. And I hope that you have a blessed day.